Hi, I'm Mike Marino, and this is a brand new episode of Live from My Mother's Basement. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. I'm going to do the same.
I didn't even ask him to do that, but he felt like that was something he needed to do.
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's a Jersey thing.
I love the guy already. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another edition of Live from My Mother's Basement. We're actually in the real basement that I grew up in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. I have a fellow entertainer who came down to the basement today. We're going to have a sandwich. We're going to have some beers. We're going to talk. We're going to get close up in reality show style with Vaka Vishnu. Did I say Vishnu Vaka?
Vishnu Vaka, yeah.
Vishnu Vaka. What a great name.
Thank you, Mike. Your name is nice too, Mike.
Mike Marino?
Yeah.
You like my name?
Yeah, I saw the entrance. I saw your match. It said M. I was like, I'm in the right place.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank God he's in the right place. He's a little late.
Very late.
Little late, about an hour late, but that's okay because he suffered from some traffic issues. What happened out there?
A lot of traffic, Jersey. Well, actually, you know what? Unusually lot of traffic. Because usually Jersey, like the turnpike is not bad. We have like multiple lanes. It's the Garden State that backs up. But
I love this man's accent. It's a very northern Jersey accent.
Yes.
It's right around Newark.
yeah.
Oh my God! Let's rewind and make sure I
This
say
is
your
it.
name correctly. Vishnu.
Vishnu.
Vishnu Vodka.
Vaka. Yeah.
Vodka, like vodka sauce.
Vaka, like Vaka.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say Vaca. Vodka.
Oh, yeah. Vaka.
Vaka.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you're originally from someplace other than New Jersey.
Oh, yeah. Princeton.
We'll be right back after this commercial break. This son of a bitch. All right, we got some jokes here in the early morning. No, really, where were you born?
Well, I'm born in India.
India?
Yeah. And,
Wow.
Yeah, and then I moved here when I was 15.
15?
Yep. 15.
So what are you, 16 now?
29.
Really?
I'm very honest about my age.
Very, very young, aggressive, happy-go-lucky guy from India. So tell us about that. So your whole family moved to
Yeah.
New Jersey from India?
Yeah, basically it's like, we're moving India to America, and we found this place called New Jersey, and all the Italians are moving out, and there's space, and we're like, you know what, let's go there, let's set up shop there, we're going to move India to America, and here we are.
If you're in another country like India,
Yeah.
of all the places to move to in the United States,
Yeah.
how do you pick New Jersey?
Well, for me, to tell you the truth, I picked New Jersey after I moved to America. And if you to ask about America, Indians love America. We love Indians. If there is a country we want to go to, that's America.
Right.
And that's because America is only one of the very few countries.
We're having beers this morning.
We are. And America is one of the
Cheers.
very few countries
had to
that
have- I had
is a
to-
secular country that promises people their rights to do whatever they
that's good.
please.
I understand
And
that,
that's
but
very important for us.
so then where was the first stop when you came to the United States?
We moved to West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
And how would you even pick that?
Well, my uncle moved there because back in 1960s, my uncle read an ad in a newspaper in India. They're looking for Fortran programmers in West Virginia. So my uncle found a couple of books in library. He sent them a letter saying, like, I know Fortran. They gave him an interview. He came here. And then they realized he doesn't really know Fortran. So his boss gave him a bunch of Fortran books, and gave him a couple of weeks to like get himself ready. And he did that, and then he settled there. And since he's there, and he sponsored his sister, who's my mom, and then my mom got it after several years, and then my parents moved here. And then when they moved here, since the only family they know is my uncle's family, they moved to West Virginia, Morgantown, and then I moved there with them. Like I moved a few years later. But
Well, it's just kind of so amazing that people in foreign countries pick specific places in the United States. And I know there's so many foreigners in
Yeah, I
different
mean,
parts of the country, but I
it's
always wonder why they picked New Jersey.
oh, New Jersey I picked because literally, if you look at any other place in the world, not just America, I want to eat Indian food. I want to eat Hyderabadi food. I have to go to Hyderabad, India. I want to eat Chennai food. I have to go to Chennai, India. I want to eat, Caribbean food. I got to go to Caribbean. But all of that is right here in New Jersey.
You're kidding.
Yeah, right here in New Jersey, you get authentic food, authentic culture. This is one of the fastest, biggest melting pots in the world. That's why I love New Jersey.
Holy shit, isn't that great? And it's funny that he mentions this food because we have some breakfast sandwiches here on the bar with us.
Yeah,
These are stereotypical morning breakfast sandwiches in the great state of New Jersey. Whether you call it pork roll or tail of ham, I don't know if he's even familiar with the great debate of all of that because he's from India.
Yeah.
But I figured we're going to have some sandwiches this morning. He's talking about food. What do you call it? Because, okay, I got a sausage. This is a sausage. This is bacon. It's got eggs on it. But sometimes you go to these places like a Quick Check,
yeah. 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven, or a diner,
Yeah.
a real old school diner, which has Greek people. And if you go to a Greek diner, you're going to get good
Oh,
food.
wait. Diners are Greek, not Italian?
Greek.
Oh, okay.
This is really good. I got this at a Greek diner on Park Avenue right here in Scotch Plains. But it is funny that so many people will tell you don't stereotype. It's offensive. No, you better stereotype so you can get the food that you're looking to get. Because he just said if he's looking for specific types of food, he gets it and he knows where to go.
Yeah.
And now he knows, go to the great state of New Jersey, you can find the authentic food because those people are here.
Yeah.
That's why I always said, people say to me, oh, you want a good cup of coffee? Go to a nice Italian place. No, now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Most of the diners in New Jersey are owned by the Greeks. That's why they have Greek god statues out in front, and they're silver and bright and gaudy, and you're going to get the best food.
Yeah. Oh, diners are the best.
Yup.
That's another reason I moved to Jersey.
Come on.
No, for real.
That's almost hilarious. Why'd you move to New Jersey? The diner.
It's like, okay, I want to work in New York as an entertainer. So, but I don't want to live in New York because if you remember the movie Legend, you see how he gets stuck in the Manhattan Island and he couldn't get out. I'm like, I don't want to do that shit. And I'm going to work there, but at the night I'm out.
He made a reference to the movie Legend. He can't get off the island.
Yeah. I don't want to be.
You got to swim.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. And so I don't want to go up north where it's Long Island and stuff, which means there are more islands to swim out of. And Jersey is still part of America. And I could be in Manhattan in an hour. I could be in Philly in an hour, a couple of hours. I'm in D.C.
The only place you can't be is my place in an hour.
Oh, California.
No,
yeah,
here.
your
Here.
place. Yes.
That joke went over his head.
Oh yeah, I did because that's a pain point.
When you came over to the United States at the great age of 15 years old,
Yeah.
did you look around and say, like, wow, what are we doing here? This is so much different than where I'm from.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at the way the people act. Their clothes are completely different. What's that like?
Well, it was more like I didn't mind the difference. I just missed my friends and family back home.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest reason why I was like, I don't want to be here. And the other issue I had was, like for example, street names or locations in India. There's a reference to it, so I know if you tell me a street name, there's a reference for me to remember it. But in America, the names are different, the street names are different, the towns are different. So for me to remember, like where I am, where I need to go, is even harder. I just hated that part of it. In terms of people are nice to me most of the time. Once in a while, you have someone tell you, like, go back to your shithole of a country, and I'm like, dude, have you been to New York City?
Good for you, man. In your face.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can imagine the adjustment's got to be crazy. Did you speak English before you got here?
I thought I did. I could read and write, but I wasn't a very good speaker. I couldn't speak well, but it took me time to understand what people are saying and to actually communicate with people where they understand what I'm saying. It took me a while. And I have to say, for the first 2 years, I was pretty much in shock. The whole thing, I was literally going through the motions of life, but I really am trying to figure out, like, it was a shock. I think you can ask any immigrant who moves. um, I think there's a break for them. There's a break, like literally you feel broken once you have to move, and then you kind of rebuild yourself. And a lot of people don't get that. It's like to move a different country, like how bad it is where you are. And to tell you the truth, India is not that bad, but there are countries that are like really bad where your life is in jeopardy, so you have to leave. And it was never not the case for me. We were doing fine in India. It's just a better opportunity to be here. But at the same time, it's like when people you leave everything you know and move, that break, that's a psychological break.
I could imagine. Yeah, because you're uplifting
Yeah,
your life
yeah,
completely.
yeah.
Did everybody in your family come? Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, my parents moved here first, and then my brother came here. My younger brother moved here after 1 year. Once they moved here, and they were like, "Okay, we can be fine here. We could survive here." My dad got a job, and then they brought my brother over, and then a year later I came over. So for a couple of years I was in India without my parents, but yeah, it like everyone. It's one of those things like we know in the long term this is what we want to do, but at the moment it was such a jarring thing. Like it's like wow, I can't believe we did this. So yeah,
When you were in India,
yeah.
were there other people who actually said, "Well, I don't know why you would do that. Things are great here"?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like you get both. There will be like people that tell you, like, why the fuck are you going there? You could do fine here. Things are getting better here, and because India got independence in 1947 from British,
Right.
and until almost 1990s, India is pretty much was ruled by puppet government by British. So the government wasn't really there for the better of people. It was more like the rich are getting richer, the politicians are getting richer. They're only working. It's a socialist country, and the only goods we could get are from like few chosen brands from England and Japan. So you couldn't get everything you want. Like even if you could afford it, you can't get them. And things changed in '90s, and that's when we moved. So, like 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 part of me is like, why the fuck did we move? Like if we didn't move, it's fine over there too.
Yeah.
But part of me is like moving here kind of made me a better person, I think, because it gave me a bigger world view, and everything happens for good, right, Mike?
It's so interesting that you experienced that, and here you are in New
Oh yeah,
Jersey. Now, on this block and in this town, there's always been a great camaraderie of cultures,
yeah,
and they're actually happy around each other
yeah,
and prefer that there are many cultures because
yeah.
it becomes a little bit more fun,
I like it too.
especially if we don't watch television and we
Yeah,
acknowledge each other for
yeah,
being different. However, we're humans
yeah,
and we all get along.
yeah,
I'm going to tell you this experience
yeah,
that I had.
yeah.
During the superstorm Sandy that hit this area,
Mm-hmm.
this entire block was paralyzed. You can't go anywhere. The trees were down, the water was around, and you had no electric. One of the greatest things to see, not only in the town but on the block, is people came out of their house, knocked on the other person's house, and said, "Are you okay?" Especially senior citizens.
Yeah,
Sometimes in the winter when the snow hits, it's so thick that all the men on the block will take out their snow blower
Yeah.
and they'll try to show off who got the best snow blower.
Oh, nice.
But in the way of, I got the senior citizens on
Yeah.
the block.
Yeah.
I got it. And then the other guy go, no, 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 I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Did you knock? No, I didn't knock. We're going to knock. Did you have food? Do you not have food? Should I go here?
Yeah.
And the coolest thing is they're all different ethnic backgrounds.
Yeah.
And they all act the same.
Yeah.
You can hear their accents, like as if you and I were arguing. Who's going to go knock on Donna's door and say, hey, you're 82. Do you want us to clean the driveway?
Yeah.
So to me, I feel like saying, can't the world just notice that? Look at how much fun this is.
That's what I think about it. I think about it a lot too, because everywhere I've seen division, people usually come together and work. Like growing up in India, I grew up in towns where it's like half Muslim, half Hindu, and you would think like they would be fighting at each other's throat all the time, but that's not the case. They get along all the time. The festivals are celebrated. People like share food. It's only when politicians get in there and rile up sentiments and figure out some way to divide people. It's always the politicians, because they're the ones who benefit from that.
You see? It's like that all around the world.
Yeah.
And I've always said, if we had some politicians that know what it's like to be broke,
Yeah.
we probably would all get along a lot better.
Yeah.
Here's my story about the Superstorm Sandy. There's a guy across the street from India. He has an accent worse than yours. He's a lot older than you. There's a Puerto Rican guy over here, and there's a black guy over here, a bunch of Italians, because this is a big Italian neighborhood. Actually, probably was more at one time, not so much anymore, but they're sprinkled in. Italian people in this neighborhood don't consider themselves white. They consider themselves Italian, and they are immigrants from Italy. So everybody hangs out in their garage. That's the place to be. My father used to be in the garage. He sat there, he smoked cigarettes, he make his phone calls, you can make coffee. Yeah. Some Italians like to put their canned tomatoes, they make their wine. So during the Superstorm Sandy, we all met in the Indian guy's garage.
Okay.
And we were all sitting there, many different ethnic backgrounds. But everybody brought their food. So I brought some cheeses and pastas and macaroni and pepperoni.
Yeah.
And the black guy, let's say, he brought some chicken and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Puerto Rican guy was bringing platanos.
Yeah.
But the Indian guy said, the Indian people are known for hot peppers. I can make a hot pepper better than anybody on this block. And this started an argument, because I says, no. The Italians know how to make a hot pepper. And he goes, no, I'm telling you, I'm going to burn you. And then the Puerto Rican guy goes, no, I'm going to make the... So everybody brought out their peppers. And they had a contest who had the hottest pepper.
Yeah.
The Indian guy won. He did. And we were drinking milk.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear. My ears were bleeding.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop crying. All to have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Yet they were yelling and screaming at each other like it was a fight.
Yeah.
A fight to the death.
Oh, yeah.
No, you tried it.
Yeah.
But we were having so much fun. You couldn't leave because of the storm. And at the end of the night, when everybody was done, and we said to the Indian guy, you win. You win. We said, I'll see you tomorrow. You understand? There's no fight here. It was fun. But the fight really was about who had the hottest pepper. Who would even think that would be a conversation? It just happened. I wish I filmed the whole thing. I'd put that on Instagram.
It's so funny, Mark. Like, usually that's how it should be, right? Regular life should be... We're not in a position where we are fighting for food. We're not fighting. We're not living in a place where I got to kill you and take your food to survive. We're not in that situation. And why is so much conflict in the world? That I don't get. Because we're literally producing enough food and resources for every being in the world multiple times, if we were to distribute it properly. Instead, we find a way to kill each other.
That's stupid.
And only beings in the world that do that are us.
Yeah.
And we tell everybody that we are the smart and we are made in the image of God and this is what we do.
You look at the horrors that are going on in the world right now, and you wonder what the hell.
Yeah.
And they have this thing. Oh, we got to talk about a ceasefire. Talk about a ceasefire. Why don't you guys just stop shooting the shit out of each other? Ceasefire? Are you all out of your minds? These kids don't even know what the hell you're fighting about, and they're never going to get to find out. I really hope none of that shit happens around there. And here we are, entertainers. I'm more interested in what's going on in his world and why he came to the United States than starting an argument with him about anything other than whether we like this sandwich or not, which ends up in somebody just being full anyway.
So good, I keep eating it.
It's good that you do. I can't believe this guy's eating Jersey food. You know what's really funny is the people who own the one 7-Eleven. Well, it's not a 7-Eleven anymore. It's a Quickie Mart or Quick Mart.
They're taking it over from us.
Yeah, they're the Indian people or whatever culture that they are in there. Every time I go in, they crack up laughing, and I'm like, look, you can say hello to me. You know, I'm not some celebrity that you can't say hi to. I know you know who I am. You don't have to keep on laughing. I didn't come in here for a Slurpee and none of that stereotypical bullshit. I want the pork roll. Do you people even know what you're doing? Do you know why we have this? Do you realize this is a Jersey thing and you can't even get it in most areas? And I guess they do because they have them.
Yeah.
I guess they assimilated to the idea that in the morning these people like this type of a sandwich. So to me, it's funny. So the younger kids who are better at speaking English, the young kids, the college kids.
Yeah.
And one guy says to me, he goes, you know, we laugh every time you come in here. And I go, why? Is it because I get a pork roll or is it I get the donut? And he goes, no, we watch your YouTube shit. And I go, oh, I really appreciate that. And I says, can you do me a favor? And he goes, yeah. And I go, why don't you guys change the music in here? And he goes, what do you mean? And I go, well, first of all, you're playing Indian music and I don't understand the words. Yeah. And if you play other music, I'm not that generation. Yeah. I need you to play 80s. And the kid's looking at me like, what? I go, trust me. You get people to come in here and they'll eat their sandwich in here because they'll have more fun.
Yeah.
So he did. Yeah. And he goes, yeah, the people stay. And I'm like, I told you. And then you sell more sandwiches. Oh. It's like a restaurant. But the people in this town are funny. They like hanging around with each other, especially early in the morning before they go to work. You'll notice this in this town, when they pull in to go get a sandwich, they don't shut their car off.
Oh.
They let the cars run because they want to keep the car warm.
Well, yeah.
Who's taking the car in this area? Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. There's no theft. There's no crime.
Yeah.
We got neighborhood watch. Lady's 82 years old. She's always watching. All right, so you're in the United States.
Yeah.
When did you say to yourself, I want to be an entertainer?
Well,
did you do this in India?
Well, I was a storyteller growing up in India. That was my thing.
So that's what a stand-up is called, a storyteller?
Well, we don't have a stand-up. I'm more like I would, in school, like, that was my thing. Like, I would tell stories. So if a teacher doesn't show up, we don't have a substitute teacher system. They just get one person to be a class leader, and then you keep track of the class. Kids just play, but don't be too loud. And then they usually ask me to tell a story, so I end up going in front of the class and telling a story. So that keeps the class entertained for the 1 hour.
So what'd you do, make up a story?
Well, I started off telling stories that I read, but eventually I started kind of mishmashing things here and there and making up with my own stories, because that way I can drag them longer and I can make them funnier, and sometimes like certain things like people they want to hear, but they don't want to hear that same, like they want to hear that scenario in a different place because it's so funny, but they don't want to hear the same story. So I would take that scenario and I put it in a different story, and now I have, So I used to do that, and when I moved here, I was watching Jay Leno and the late night shows, David Letterman.
Yeah.
And I would be like, they do stand up in the beginning, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I could do that, but I don't know the language, and and then with my accent, people understand it, and I think in 2000. 3 years. So I did a set because I was in a film school and I was trying to find an actor, and I went to this variety mic. I didn't know when I paid $5, I paid for the stage time. So the guy was like, "You got 5 minutes on stage," and I didn't want to lose my money. So I went up and I talked about elephants having sex, and they killed. And after that, I was like, okay, I can do this. And then I saw Russell Peters come to our college, and that kind of opened my eyes because he came in. It's not just Indian people; it's audience of all races, all kinds of people.
Right.
And he was making fun of everybody. Everybody's laughing. It didn't matter he's Indian or he's brown or That's when I was like, wait a minute. If I'm funny, if I could be funny, it doesn't matter who I am. And I think this is probably one of the very um, uh, few areas as a stand-up comedian, talent really carries forward.
Oh, yes.
Because you could be an actor, be a bad actor, but somehow get roles. You could be doing other things, somehow figure it out. But once you're on stage as a stand-up, you suck, you suck. There is, it's completely different than what people think. And people see people on stage doing comedy, and they think it's easy because they're making it look easy. But and once I figured out I got that, God gave me a gift. Rest is history. I don't care. I'm not worried anymore. Like I'm sitting right next to Mike, you know. Like I saw you come and like do catch. I saw you fill up that entire ballroom in Hyatt, and I was like, wow, how cool would it be to to do some time and just to meet this guy. And I came and said hi to you. You were so nice. And then now you invite me on your podcast. I was like, this is not possible anywhere else unless you are a comedian, because I'm lucky. I really am.
One of the greatest things he actually just said, something that I say all the time. When a stand-up gets on stage, it's do or die. You don't have a choice. There's no such thing as the word cut. You can't start again. Once you start, that's it. You're in the moment. It's not always easy to be great all the time. There are some nights that just don't work, and there are some nights that are so great you can't stop. You're not putting that microphone down. You're bit with the bug, and that's it. It's in you.
And some nights
you need that drug.
Your gummy hits in the wrong time.
Yes. I've had that happen to me a few times. I try not to do that. That's not something I can actually do.
Yeah.
I dropped a gummy once, went on stage. They told me I was on for 3 hours. I don't even remember what we talked about, but I wish I wrote it down.
Yeah.
I always forget what I'm supposed to write down stuff when I go on stage under the influence. But I don't even come from that generation, quite honestly. The beginning, when I first started doing stand-up, most people were doing cocaine and smoking cigarettes in the club. I'm doing this 31 years now.
Wow.
But I love watching people come up. I love watching people who embrace their culture, which is usually the funniest, because the truth is always going to be really, really funny.
Yep.
And I saw you doing a set of Catch a Rising Star in Princeton, and I remember sitting in the back of the room going, this guy's fucking me up. This is funny as shit, because some people also have a stage persona. You don't see it coming. You're just looking at the guy like, come on, what's he got? And then you're like, oh, wow. Okay, that's cool. The accent and the persona of where he's from and the cadence. So I'm glad you said what you said. And so what's going on in your career now?
Well, right now I got my it's a self-driven tour that I'm trying to take around the country. And I'm slowly getting to headline more. I'm opening more places. I got my own website now with I'm trying to start a podcast. Things are going up. I'm happy.
Try everything.
Oh yeah.
You never know what's going to work in the industry these days because of social media that really came out of nowhere. I mean, if you think of when I was going to open mics, there was no such thing as social media.
Oh yeah.
And you were basically handing people flyers in the street saying, hey, I'm performing, would you like to come?
Yeah.
But now everybody and anybody could be in the business. The thing is, in my opinion, if they go to see you live, not on the internet, where you're doing 60 seconds, maybe a couple of minutes, if they watch that and then they go see you live, you better have a show.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the end of the show, you're going to lose them. So it's good that you have both
Oh yeah.
and do everything, act.
Yeah.
You know, I started out as an actor. I never wanted to be a stand-up comic. I
Yeah.
never thought I was going to do stand-up.
Yeah.
But then I realized I could create my own career and do my own thing by being a comic.
Yeah.
And if I'm such a good actor, then maybe I could play the role of a stand-up comic.
Yeah.
And then I just wrote jokes about my family and growing up Italian in New Jersey. I
Yeah.
took the act to California, and then in California, that's when people were like, wow, people in New Jersey really act like that? And I'm like, damn straight, right?
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, if you were performing in Los Angeles with your accent, you say, yeah, I just got here. I'm originally from New Jersey. People will laugh their asses off.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you work a part-time job or are you full-on entertainer?
Now I'm full on entertainer.
Yeah?
I jumped over last year. I went on a tour with Russell Peters.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he took me all over Asia.
No shit.
Oh yeah, that
Wow.
changed my life. And when I went there, I was like, I had to take days off for a month. My boss is like, dude, you're going with Russell Peters. Maybe you should just go and not worry about coming back. And I was like, okay. And he's like, if you want to come back, let me know. I'll try to get you back. I'm trying not to go back.
Oh, wow. So you're out there just now hustling 100% entertainer.
Yeah.
Wow. Russell Peters. I know Russell from Los Angeles. First time I met Russell Peters, he started impersonating my personality, and I never saw an Indian guy do an Italian guy from New York better than Russell. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then some time went by. I still didn't know him very well, but I was in the Montreal Comedy Festival, and I was walking into a radio station called Chum Radio, and he was in the booth talking about his career and what he was doing. Yeah. And obviously everybody knew Russell at that time, and he came walking out, looked at me and goes, Marino, are you next? And I said, yeah. And he goes, hold it. And he walked back in the room and went back on the air and said, I want you all to get ready because one of the funniest guys alive is about to come in this room. And he's a badass, and if you don't laugh, he'll have you whacked. And I went walking in the room like, well, thank you, bro. Thank you. So if you watch my web series, Make America Italian Again, the guy who plays my best friend, the Clemenza character, is Angelo Sarukis. Oh. And Angelo Sarukis is Greek, and he's very, very close to Russell Peters. So I see Russ every once in a while. I never shared the stage with him other than the Laugh Factory in Hollywood. I'd like to someday. I know he's on tour right now with Adam Hunter, who's a great comedian. Yeah. And Angelo tells me all the time, he goes, Russell would like to be in Make America Italian Again. I'm like, really? What was he going to play? And he goes, he wants to play an Italian guy from New York. I'm like, God, come on. Yeah, we got to let him play a terrorist or something. He's like, no, he ain't going to do it. Isn't that funny? Good for you, man. Are you guys still in touch?
Oh, yeah. I spoke to him yesterday. He's in India right now.
He's with that guy, Adam.
Yeah, and he messaged me. He called me yesterday because there's this Telugu singer he met, and he was like, do you know him? And it's pretty cool. Telugu is the language I speak, so.
What is it?
Telugu.
Telugu?
Yeah.
That's your language?
Yeah.
It's not Indian, it's Telugu.
Well, in India, each state has its own language. It's like Europe putting in you take Europe and put it in a country, that's India. Because in Europe, you have all these different languages. But if you look at the writing, like, you still use alphabets, right, when you write Italian?
Yeah.
But our alphabets are different from each state.
Right.
So I can't read, like you can't, like, for example, an English guy could read Italian, but he might not know what it's saying, but he could at least try to make the letters out.
That's so confusing.
Right? But in India, I can't read, my neighboring state, they speak Tamil. I can't read their script. It's completely different. But so the language I speak is called Telugu.
Telugu.
And British people called it Italian of the East. If that makes you, we are somehow connected like that.
Really?
Yeah. And for the longest time, people would be like, dude, our language is so cool. It's called Italian of the East. And I'd be like, shouldn't you be the other way? If we are so cool, shouldn't they be saying we are Telugu of the West?
I like it. There's so many Italian dialects. My mother's from a certain area of Italy, and their language is Bruzzese, and if I spoke Bruzzese to somebody from Sicily, they don't know what I'm saying.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought it was just in our
Yeah.
culture,
Yeah.
but it's in yours too.
Oh, yeah. We have that is accent. That is again like in Telugu we have different accents. Accents. There's a people that speak Telangana, which is more I would say more direct, and each there are multiple accents there again. It's a complex. That's why when Western people try to interpret India, they don't understand the complexity of it. They look at us all as same people because we all like you look brown and have that same English accent, but we all have different ethnicities. We have different religions, different ideas.
How many languages do you speak?
I speak well fluently. I can't. I only speak like three maybe, but because I moved here when I was 15, I got I'm exposed to about 5 or 6 languages.
Who's helping you put your tour together? Like, how long you even doing stand up?
Oh, I started in 2012 again,
Okay.
and I've been building it. I don't really have anybody right now.
You do your own thing?
I'm doing my own thing right now. And I was told that I should just wait out and see, like, when I get to a point where someone sees worth in me, like they would reach out to me, so I don't need to.
Sometimes it's always the best way to have people in the industry come get you.
Yeah.
Because if you go chasing after them, you never know whether they really like you or
Yeah,
not.
exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of just like dating, you know? You
Yeah.
know the girl really wants you because she
Yeah.
makes it happen.
Yeah.
Whereas a guy is just constantly chasing.
Yeah.
And in the business now, you can actually create your own career because you got social media.
Yep.
And you got a friend like Russell Peters. If you can get him on the phone, I'm sure he can introduce you to a lot of different people, take you back out on tour, or at least tell you where you can go, make a name for yourself in certain areas, open up a couple of doors. You have got to tell him you're at my house. He's going to laugh his ass off.
Okay, I'll tell him.
You're going to tell him, listen, Russ, I was just over at Mike Marino's basement. He said, you're not welcome.
Okay, I'll tell him.
That is really trippy, man. That is
Yeah.
so trippy. How did he even find you?
Well, I found him.
Well-
He was at Stress Factory, and
In New Jersey?
yeah, and Derek introduced me to him, and he goes, Derek is like he's a comedian, he's funny, and then Russell looks at me and he goes, a South Indian comedian. Now I've seen it all, and he laughed and we laughed, and then he was like, man, you should have come early. I would have put you up, and because I met him after the show, and then I was like, can I take you up on that? He was like, of course. So I see where he's around, and I see he's in Pittsburgh. So I go there, and he puts me on. He gives me like 10 minutes, and I had a great set.
Did you just show up?
I just showed up, and I asked him, can I go say hi to him? And they were like, well, before I showed up, I messaged him on Instagram, saying like, you inspired me to get into comedy. I would love to come and see you and say hi after the show. And he was like, sure, like, and I also met him, so he remembered me. So I go there, I show them that, they let me in, I go inside. He looks at me, he goes, you're a comedian, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, and I was like, we met, and I was like, I don't remember that, but I recently saw one of your bits online. It's funny. You're funny. And I was like, wow, that is bigger compliment than I could ever imagine. What happened was when I messaged him, he told me later that he went to kind of see who this guy is, because usually his like lot of messages I get are kind of arrogant, like people saying like, oh, give me, take me on the tour, and like the way you asked is so much different. So I wanted to see who you were, and when I went on your page and I saw one of your bits, I was like, this guy is funny. So he gave me stage time. I had a good set, and I came back. He's like, you're very funny. And I was like, see, you're going to be at Rochester. Can I come there and hang out? He's like, yeah, come there, and I'll give you time. So I go there, and he gives me time, and then he pays for my hotel. I stay there, gives me time again. The next day, I do both, like 4 shows. And then I did that a few more places, and then one day he called me, and he's like, hey, I'm going to be at Turbo Theater, and I'm doing NJ
Pack?
Pack. You want to open for me? And I was like, hell yeah. And I opened for him.
Wow. Isn't that cool? That is super cool. That is a great story. And you had the tenacity and the balls to show up.
Oh yeah. I
You
went
got to
over there.
show up.
Oh, you got to show up, and then when you get the stage time, you can't get panicked.
Yeah, you better bring it.
Yeah, yeah,
You're going to show up, you better bring it.
yeah. Even when he took me on the tour, he told me like a few times I was really like first time when I was going on, we were going on Tokyo, and I was like, dude, these guys don't even know English. How are they going to understand my accent? And he's like, I did not bring you here because you're my friend. I brought you here because you're funny. So go do your thing. Don't worry about it. And that kind of gave me the boost I needed. And I opened for 11,000 people in front of, like I opened for him cold in front of 11,000 people.
That's
at Singapore.
insane.
I walked up cold and I had a great set. It's
Boy,
just,
oh
you know,
boy, make your hair stand up on your skin.
it was it's
Wow.
after that I feel so much more confident now. It's like,
I'll bet. Okay, now you got to go all the way back to 99 people.
yeah. Yeah,
But that's what we do, and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I recently did an hour for 8 people. So.
That's harder than performing for 11,000.
Oh yeah, it is. It really is.
11,000 people screaming no matter what.
Yeah.
9 people. Oof.
And some of them are yawning. They're like tired.
Ooh. Hope they paid you well. That's a tough one. Man, what a great story. You end up touring with one of the biggest names in the business.
Yeah.
You know? I remember sometimes I would look at these big stars and I'm like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And then eventually you tell people how many friends you have that are A-listers and they are stars, and then they don't even believe you.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other night, I'll share this with you.
Yeah.
My father had passed away a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I'm so
It's
sorry.
thank you. I appreciate that. But not to dwell on that. A lot of people called to offer their condolences. The amount of stars that called me was blowing my mind. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And I never say anything because to them, it's like, why wouldn't you believe it? We're friends.
Yeah.
Of course I would call you.
Yeah.
But if you tell other people, they're like, you don't know him. And I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
actually, I do.
Yeah.
So yesterday,
Yeah.
and we're not dating this recording,
Yeah.
do you know Dean Martin?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, Dean Martin has a daughter,
Yeah.
and her name is Dina.
Yeah.
And Dina tours
Yeah.
singing her father's music. It's all over my wall over there.
Yeah.
I must have done 50 shows with them as the opening act.
Yeah.
So she called me yesterday and she goes, I just want to let you know how sorry you are about your dad. And someone was standing next to me and I'm like, who's that? I'm like, it's Dean Martin's daughter, Dina. And they're like, get out of here. I'm like, no, it's her.
And they don't take you seriously because you're a comedian.
Yeah, but
They're like,
she's
"Oh, you
such a
just-"
good friend.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about
Yeah.
the people like
Of
next
course,
to you.
they don't believe you.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, you're just pulling my leg." And I'm like, no, dude. Like same thing. Like I can't believe I have Russell Peters' number. Like I just like that's like.
Yeah, well, it's going to get even better because now you're going to call him and say I was with Marino. He's going to crack up laughing. I remember one time he pulled up in front of the Laugh Factory in a Rolls Royce. And I pulled up behind him in like a beat up SUV. And I go like this, here's my keys, park my car. So, pretty amazing stories, man.
Oh man.
He's got, his phone rings and it's Mexican music. Is it Mexican music?
Oh, it's Indian. My son.
It's
put it.
Indian?
It's the
Oh, you
tune
got
is-
kids?
Oh yeah, I got 2 kids. I got a 12 and a 4-year-old.
12 and 14?
4.
4. 12 and 4.
Yeah.
Is your wife from India as well? Or?
Yeah, she's from India too.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. I met her in India. We spoke for a while and then we decided to get married.
Here in the United States or there?
We did both. We got married there and then here.
Yeah?
Yeah, because my parents and family are here. Well, we didn't get married here. We had our reception here.
Is her parents and family here?
Now they are.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do they think about you doing stand-up comedy?
Well, they kind of know that whatever I'm doing, I won't do it unless I know what I'm doing. So they kind of got that, they were kind of surprised. I think it took them a while to figure out what I'm doing. But then once I started making progress, everything is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were very supportive, though, even beginning. Like, they didn't know what I was doing. That's all. They don't know English that well, so they don't understand what I'm doing. So,
Have they been to your shows? Well, I guess your kids are too young, but your
yeah,
wife?
my wife has been, yeah, yeah.
And what does she
She,
think?
she saw me, and even my parents saw me for the first time when I opened for Russell at Atlantic City. And then after that, she kind of realized, okay, this is big. Until then, she was like, I don't know, what are you like, where are you going to go with this? But once everybody, my parents, everybody saw me open for Russell,
Well,
yeah,
you got to start doing some work with me.
I
I
would love
put
to.
on some great shows. I like to have different ethnic groups on the
I'd love
show.
to. I'd love to.
I like females, whatever it is, as
Yeah.
long as we're kicking ass and we're having fun, and I don't have to worry
No.
backstage that the guy up there is going to do something really ridiculous, because it happens. So you're a headliner now, right?
Yeah, yeah. But I don't mind opening. I have no problem opening. I would love.
I very seldom say the word opening act. I always say another entertainer on the show.
Yeah,
A host, I'll say a host,
yeah,
master of ceremonies. But when I go on tour, it depends on where I'm going and what I'm doing. I usually say, right now the tour is called Welcome to the Family, and everybody in the
Okay.
show is supposed to be in the family. So
Okay.
you're part of the show.
yeah, yeah.
I'm doing a show in a couple of weeks with a guy who's on Bold and the Beautiful, and
Oh.
he's also one of the stars of the TV series Cobra Kai, and his name is Sean Kanan. Sean Kanan was the lead actor in The Karate Kid Part 3.
Wow.
So he saw me one day and he goes, I'd really like to do stand-up comedy. And I'm like, well, I don't, if you want to, let's just do a show and we'll split it down the middle.
Yeah,
So we're going to do it again. It's going to be like our 5th time doing shows. So he'll do a half hour, I'll do a half hour, and good night.
yeah,
And maybe have a host go up there and work them up. And then you split the whole thing down the middle,
Yeah.
and it's fun.
yeah,
If I have to go do Mike Marino live, well, then it's usually just me by myself.
yeah.
Recently, I was working with some lady in Florida, and she came as a recommendation. And I booked her from watching her video. I'm like, wow, you're great.
Yeah,
We went down there and did the show. She only needed to do 20 minutes,
yeah,
and she was killing it so well, so
Yeah.
perfect for this audience that I'm like, keep going. I'm going to go get a sandwich. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Who cares?
You're like, I don't care. As long as the show is good.
Go
yeah.
ahead, baby. Knock them out. And of
That's
course, then
awesome.
there's the reverse. Please get off the stage. Please get
Yeah.
off the stage.
Yeah,
But how fun is it to be a headliner, to have an opening act or another person on the show and sit there and go, oh, man, isn't he great?
Yeah.
And then you tell your friends, I told you, isn't he great? Isn't he great?
yeah,
It would be like if you were in a TV series. You don't need to outshine everybody.
yeah.
Be part of the cast.
Especially with the comedy, I always enjoy when I see like good comedians, because like the whole industry is lifted by good comedians. If someone comes to a good show and they enjoy it, now they want to go see another stand-up comedy.
Yes.
If other people suck and you're the only one that's good, nobody's going to come see you because they hate the art.
Yeah. They
So-
saw another show that they didn't like.
Yeah,
I'm not going to that.
yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of people don't get that. They keep thinking comedians are competing. We are not competing. We are literally few people, I think, in my head that got it figured out. That like the way I look at it is everybody else takes this world so fucking seriously. They don't enjoy it and they don't let other people enjoy it. And we're the only ones who kind of see the loopholes in that thinking and make fun of it. Then not only are we enjoying it, we are letting other people into our world and let them enjoy the goofiness of it. Now, once they leave our show, not only are they going to be like less loose, like they'll be like, okay, I'm not going to hate everybody else. They might also start seeing the stupidity in the world around us.
I like making fun of life
Yeah.
in the
yeah.
way that just you can't help but crack up laughing.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the whole point of it.
The stupid thing that we were doing with my fellow comedians about make America Italian again and running for president of the United States. I mean, we were hitting such big numbers because it was stupid. And the more Trump and what's his name were doing what they were doing on the internet, the more jokes we had. But we weren't making fun of them. We were kind of just making fun of ourselves. And we were doing like all kinds of plays on The Godfather and Goodfellas. So, I mean, you didn't even have to know those movies to get what we were doing. So, like this guy Angelo I was telling you about, he's the heavy guy. He's been very heavy, and we had this other guy, and we're doing a scene out of the Godfather, and the line is like in The Godfather, and he goes, "I want you to find a nice Italian restaurant and put the gun in the bathroom so that he comes out and he can just start shooting."
Oh.
So I did the same thing, and I said to Angelo. Now, this was an improv,
Yeah.
so I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I go, listen, I want you to find a nice Italian restaurant and hide the gun so that he doesn't come out.
Yeah.
And he could shoot them. And Angelo goes like this. I'm not Italian. I'm Greek. I never said I was Italian. You said I was Italian. And we all just looked at each other. And I went like this. Find a Greek restaurant. Somewhere where you can hide the gun in the bathroom. And it made no sense whatsoever.
That is funny.
And we had to hold our faces without cracking up laughing.
I'm cracking up right now.
Because we didn't know, right, see? And then the little guy who says, when I come out of the bathroom, I'll just start shooting, like in The Godfather. So Angela goes like this, but if I don't have any tape, I guess I could just put the gun on the floor. And he goes, why don't you put it behind the whack-a-mole? We'll just go to Chuck E. Cheese. And he goes, all right, go to the whack-a-mole. And it's so stupid that we were winning awards for best script, but we didn't write it. We were just improv.
Yeah.
Isn't
Some
that
of the
great?
best comedy scenes, I bet, are done like that. Like, just two comedians going at each
Yeah.
other. Nobody can write that shit. Nobody can sit down and write it.
I can't stop laughing. And I didn't have anything to do with the writing. When we were doing the improv, it all came out of everybody's mouth because they were all talented. And we must have had like 6 people in the cast just underplaying it. I mean, it was even this one thing when the guy goes, we were all really proud of you when you did that, that thing.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, what thing? He goes,
Thing.
the thing. And the scene just goes to black. I would love to do a scene where like, who's your new friend? Oh, he's the new hitman, Vishnu. Where's he from? Italy.
New Jersey.
He doesn't sound like he's from New Jersey. Well, he's closer to
he's from New
Philadelphia.
Jersey.
He's closer.
He's from New Jersey.
He's closer to Philadelphia.
You get the accent? That's from New Jersey.
He eats pork roll.
Yeah. It's bacon.
Are you familiar with the comedian Ahmed?
Yeah, I know him.
He's a very good friend of mine, too.
Yeah, he's super good. He was here. I saw him at Stress, and then we hung out in the city.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's cool.
All right, we got to talk to him. Ahmed and I have done many shows together.
Yeah.
And I love that guy. He's such a good guy. And I remember having him on my podcast, and I says, I really want you to do some scenes with me. We're going to do this, that, and the other thing. So let's practice this little scene. We're going to cut up these meatballs. And he goes, no, I can't do that. I go, why not? He goes, I don't eat that kind of meat. Like pork or something.
Yeah,
against his religion.
Yeah, pork, yeah.
And I go like this, well, then what? And he goes, no, I can't eat it. And I go, then you can't do the scene. He goes, yes, I can. Just put some sauce on something else.
Yeah.
And I go, well, that's faking it. He
Turkey
goes, it's
sausage.
Hollywood. Turkey sauce. You're faking it. But that's funny to me.
Yeah.
I'm not offended. It's funny. I'll write that shit down.
Yeah.
We need to shoot this. He goes like this to me. He goes, I'm offended every time I'm in a movie. I'm a terrorist. And I go, well, I'll play the terrorist. You play the hitman. I just don't look like a terrorist. I'm choking.
You'll be playing a terrorist and you're offended because no one takes you seriously. I'm gonna.
That's a good premise. I'm offended.
Yeah.
I'm a terrorist and nobody believes me.
I'll blow up this fucking place. Yeah, right.
Tell everybody who's watching this recording where they can find your work on the internet.
I have a website, vishnuvaka.com. It's spelled VISHNUVAKA.com. I put all my shows there. My social media is Vishnu Vaka Comedy.
Vishnu.
Vishnu Vaka Comedy.
Spell it out so that they can write it down.
VISHNUVAKA Comedy. That's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everything. And then my website is myname.com.
All social media. You guys got to follow him. You got to go see him live.
Please.
Watch what he does.
You guys will like me.
We're gonna beg him to be in some scenes with me.
I would want to be.
We got to do some TikToks. I don't know, do some stupid
I
shit.
want to do it. Yeah.
And we got to get out there and have some fun. I would definitely love to have him on stage with me.
Thank
Make
you
my
for
audience
having
be
me,
like, "What
Mike.
the fuck is going on here?" I'm like, "He eats pork roll." Folks, I want to thank my producer Tatiana Blue Shell for always making sure that we have a great guest come down to the basement and we put on a great show, and you guys get to see it every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Jersey time exclusively on my YouTube channel, which is Mike Marino Live on YouTube. You know that because you're watching it right now. Send us a subscription. Send us a subscribe. Hit that little button. Hit the bell. You'll always know when I'm going live. I'm also on Spotify, and on Spotify now you can not only listen, but you can watch videos on Spotify now. I'm also on Italian American Radio out of New York City. So we got to get going. I want to thank Vishnu Vaka for coming down to the basement. He's been a great guest. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to keep on eating and drinking our Coors Light beers. And I hope you guys will all stay in touch. Remember, follow me, follow him, and we'll always be in your neighborhood. Let's make America Italian again, right? You know the motto, New Jersey.
Let's make America New Jersey.
Make America New Jersey again. That is hilarious. Remember, you don't know nothing, you don't see nothing, you don't say nothing. And how do I end every single one of my podcasts? By saying the same thing along with my guest. Don't take no shit from nobody. You ready?
Yeah.
Don't take no shit from nobody. I like the way he did it better than me. Do it again.
Don't take no shit from nobody.
Hey folks, thanks for watching live from my mother's basement. I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, hit the word like and leave me a really cool comment. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the future episodes, and you can watch some of the funniest videos on the internet. You can also listen to the show on Spotify or your favorite podcast app.